Welcome to a video from DigitalLife.com. This video I'm going to be looking at this Surface Pro, the 11th Gen 1 Snapdragon X Elite, 32GB of RAM, 1TB of storage. Now, I've had a few Surfaces over my years, right back to the Surface RT, and I've gone through, I'm currently using a laptop studio, and you've got my Surface Pro. I think this is the Surface Pro 4. I've had a lot, and I've got the Surface Go. So this is the first time I've tried one of the Snapdragon ones. So I'm really interested to test that. Particularly, I'm going to be trying it with some of the new ARM music software. So like, I use Cubase normally, and they've released an ARM version at the end of last year. So I want to try and see what that does in it. So I'm going to unbox this, and I'm going to get this set up. I'm going to first of all see what the Snapdragon experience is like on a Surface compared with the Intel ones that we've got of my other devices. And then I'll try and run through some of the, maybe get Cubase installed and try a few applications, see how they perform as well. So a couple of days later, I finished setting this up the other day. So I thought I'd take some time just to sort of get used to it before I went into some of the features of it. Just talk about the hardware for now. It's got a really nice feel to it. It's got nice smooth edges with it. It's nice and light. I compared it to a Surface Pro 4, which is last time I had a Surface Pro, and the edges are a lot smoother. There's less ventilation holes in there, as you'd expect, because this is the ARM-based processor. So you've got two USB-C ports and the Surface dock port, no other ports on there at all. Then here at the bottom is the space for the keyboard, but notice there's no pins on it like on one of the older ones. Let me show you. So there's the pins you can see on the older Surfaces. That's because this is a flex keyboard, which the flex keyboard works over Bluetooth. So I can use this keyboard now, even though it's not connected. I'll show you in a second when I've got it back on the desk. Also in there is the place for the pen, the Slim Pen 2, and the dock as well to charge the Slim Pen 2. On the Surface Laptop Studio, it sort of goes underneath. On there, it goes in the keyboard. So I'll give you some of the specs. It comes with Windows 10 Home. It's a Copilot Plus PC, which means we get some of the AI function like recall and some other things, which we'll have a look at shortly. 14 hours of battery life, Microsoft say. And there's two versions. There's the 13-inch OLED or the LCD displays. I think this is the OLED one, because it's touchscreen as well and supports the pen. Got Wi-Fi 7 and it weighs 895 grams. So the two processors it could come with is the Snapdragon X Plus 10 core or the Elite, the 12 core. This is the 12 core version, and it's got the Qualcomm Hexagon NPU in there for the AI stuff. It's got a Qualcomm Adreno GPU in there, and you can get 16 32GB versions and a terabyte storage. That's what I've got on here. The display is actually 1280 or 1280 by 1920. In terms of battery life as well, Microsoft say 14 hours video playback, 10 hours for active web use. I would probably go along with that. I've only had it for a day or so. The battery life does seem good on it and better than, say, my laptop Studio or just a Surface laptop with running the Intel processors. We've got a quad HD front camera and a 14 and a 10 megapixel rear-facing camera, but it's got the studio effects as well for processing the camera for when you're on Teams calls and things, which we'll have a look at shortly. And we've got 2-watt Dolby Atmos speakers on there. So you can see it's got a lovely screen on there. My initial play around with it is extremely fast and snappy. As you'd expect from a brand new device. I've only just set it up, but this Snapdragon processor does seem nice and quick as well. I've just set some of the applications up, and it's really quick to switch between applications and switching back and forward. There's no problem with that. It's really nice and smooth. I have to say, it does feel quicker than the Surface laptop, But then, like I said, it's brand new. I expect that. I mentioned about the keyboard before, so this is the keyboard. So the keyboard, you can see, is working there. I've not got it connected at all, and it works just fine. That does give you a nice flexibility of options to how you place it, and of course you can still put it up on the stand like you do with a traditional one, and then it charges the keyboard and the pen at the same time while it's doing that. I find the keyboard and the pen take about 10 minutes to charge up, and then I'll charge for well hours anyway. I'm not quite sure exactly, because I've been having it on disconnected and reconnected a few times. So the other thing I'm going to look at that is some of the applications. I'm going to look at some of the music applications, because it's been a big push from Microsoft and the vendors like Steinberg and others to produce ARM native music applications. So we'll check that up as well. But also I'm going to have a look at the video editing software I use, which isn't ARM based, and see if that is a big issue when you're using one of these devices. The other thing I've noticed as well is recall is now set up on there. So I've got the snapshots that it's taking. Let's just have a look. So here you can see it states the snapshots. It's using up to 150 gig of storage space, and we'll just see what you can do with these snapshots. So I'm going to leave it running, and we'll have a look at it later in the process. The other thing we can have a look at is the studio effects for the camera. So you can see it on there, and you've got the different effects. So there's a portrait blur. There you can see it's applying that. It's at a funny angle because of where I face the camera, but there you can see that that portrait blur. And let's try the standard blur. You've got lots of difference between the two. It's just a little bit more subtle, isn't it? And then the light one is probably just adjusting the lighting. So you can see it slides these nice subtle effects. So there, that's softened it looks a bit weird, that, doesn't it? That softened the video out. Turn that back off. Better in range, it would get in better focus. But that's interesting, these effects. Let's have a look what we've got. Oh, that's quite interesting. Like, you can share the camera out, so that's quite handy when if you're perhaps using some screen capture software and you wanted to using a camera and Teams and other things at the same time. You can do that rather than the camera being locked. Some other thing I've noticed over the standard one, there's the little sort of AI prompt on there, so you can see it should be. So if I wanted to type change round, it's not looking for an exact net match of the file name of the search name. It's just using the AI to try and guess what you want to do. Of course, you've got Copilot on here, which I haven't signed into yet, but I could sign into that one. That's our recall, and there was some other click to do. Let's have a look at that one. So you can tap anything on the screen, it will try and work out what you want it to do. So let me do something a bit more interesting than that. So let's try click to do. So go on there, give that a try. I've got a page open. You see it's looking now. So you can see it's picking out that text. Actually, what would be more interesting, I think, is if I pin that and then open that to the taskbar, and then do click to do. There you go. See, look at that. So select that text. So it's actually, even though that text is an image on an image, it's actually allowing me to copy that, grab that to the clipboard. If you wanted to grab some text from an image, that's ideal. I can open it with Notepad, or I could search for it. So I think that's actually a nice feature, though. Yeah, look at that. You can see that text, and it's allowing me to grab that. So I think that's an interesting an interesting technique. There's some basic text which you could have grabbed anyway, but this allows me to grab that, summarize it, rewrite it. That's quite good, isn't it? And open it with Notepad or another application. So there you go, there's it summarizing. So that's something that's really interesting to do with this processor because it's a Copilot Plus PC. I haven't tried these before. And let's go to the recall. It always uses Windows Hello because it's part of the security on there. And there you can see the snapshots of where I was, and I should be able to go back in time. I've only just set this up. Yeah, there we go. You see, I can have a look at when I was doing the text, the backgrounds, doing the searches a bit earlier on. Again, you can grab that text from there. So you can, if you can't remember exactly what it was, you can go back and you can grab the text from it. That is a really nice function. It's in preview at the moment, but I think that is really interesting. And let me see how interested to see how I actually use that. So I mentioned the other thing I was going to look at is some applications on here, with it being an ARM processor, seeing what's good and what's bad. I'm going to spend more time with the music apps. I'll do a separate video for looking at using Cubase and some music apps to see how well they perform, because there is that's one of the areas that I really wanted to focus on this, but I will have a look at it just to check. So I'm going to fire up Cubase, which is the music software, and you can see this is the ARM based version of it, so I'm not using the Intel version. So here we are, this is Cubase, the native version of Cubase, and I've actually installed a couple of virtual instruments on here. I tried to install the Korg ones, and I couldn't get the newer Korg ones to install. We'll look at that in a separate video. I did get one of the older Korg ones, but I couldn't get to license, so it's running in a trial mode. But there are the built-in ones, that built-in instruments that I did get to work in, and the Cherry Audio Prophet 10 worked as well, allowed me to install that. So I've got a USB MIDI interface plugged in via there. So I should be able to play that, which I can from my MIDI keyboard. So close that for a sec, so we can let's just check some of how that's running. See there, Cubase is running on the ARM processor, even though we've not got an ARM specific version of that Prophet 10 add-in. It works fine. Let's have a look at some of the other native ones. That's working fine, but what's more interesting to any who uses this on a regular basis is some of the latencies. So I just checked one of my other Intel machines, and it's a Surface Laptop Studio, and that one is getting high latency, so it's 10.8, 21 and 32. So, and that's running at a slightly lower sample rate as well. So this is using the built-in driver, and the built-in driver comes from Steinberg when I installed it. So it's an special ARM driver. So really pretty good latency on there. I haven't tried any of my specific audio interfaces yet. That'll be for another video, but I just wanted to show you that it does work, and the latency is low enough to not really be able to notice it at the moment. I've not tried running any projects on yet. That's for another video. But the USB, yeah, no problem with the MIDI interface. Just plugged it in directly using a hub. Okay, I was going to try and see what a video editing application is like. So I'm going to get that installed. So I just fired up Camtasia Studio, and I'm just going to check the recording software works. Yeah, there we go. We can see it's using the rear camera on there. I can change it to the front camera, and that's using the Visual Studio effects, isn't it? No, that's not Visual. That's using the effects, the studio effects, because you can see it zoom in on there. That's quite good, isn't it? That's picked that auto framing up already. I can turn that off. I can turn off the watercolor and turn the other effects on and off as well. So yeah, that's quite good. That's picked that up quite nicely. And as you saw earlier, I could actually carry on using the camera for a call while I'm still using that. So I'm going to try and open a video that I'd already prepared, and a project that I've already prepared, and see what it's like for editing and specifically compiling. So just while that's downloading, you can see in here, there we go, it's opened up. You can look at the processor architecture when it's running. So you can see it's running the 64 on 64. Here you can see that Camtasia is running as X64, so it's running as Intel Emulation. I can see I have no issues in using the tool itself, so I can edit that video. Everything is working in there as I'd expect, and I'm pretty sure I can just export that. Let's try it to a local file. And that, I would say, as a very anecdotal estimate, is probably about the same speed as on a Surface laptop and Laptop Studio. So it's not particularly slower, even though it's using the ARM of the Intel emulation. Maybe it's going to take more battery life where I'm doing that as well. So just a final thing I wanted to show on the video now. This is so you can have a quick look at the visual differences between the Pro and the laptop, and behind it there is the Laptop Studio, but primarily these two. You can see the difference in the screen height and the keyboard. So the whole package is smaller on the Pro than it is on the laptop. In terms of performance and battery life, that's something I'm going to have to put them side by side and do a bit more work on to see what they're like. But my overall impression is that the Surface Pro has always been a great device. I had the Surface RT right from the beginning, and then switched to Surface Pro, I think with the Pro 3, and I've had various models over time. And I've gone between the Laptop Studio. I've got a Go 4 as well, which I use for meeting notes, which is brilliant. This might be my new machine for taking to meetings, because you can use the pen for meeting notes with OneNote, but it's a full laptop as well. How the ARM processor works, that's what I need to find out. I love all the AI stuff, the recall and the click to do, that kind of thing. So I'm going to do another video which will look particularly at running the music stuff, because that's a lot of work's been done on that. And if you've got something you'd like me to highlight on the Surface Pro 11, especially the ARM one, please let me know in the comments and I'll do a video about that. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.